Hey guys, we're finally live. We're only a little bit late. Only 15 minutes. I think that's actually a record. I have Brian and Jeff with me. Say hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Hi, everyone.
I'm
How's
trying
everybody
to.
doing?
I'm trying something different. Since last time I was constantly getting kicked out on the iPad, I said I'm going to try this on my phone. The problem is everything's in separate little pop-up windows, so it's taking me a minute to move things around. So bear with me, guys. I'm trying something new. But this is part two that we promised the other night of the top 22 Mandela Effects of 2022. So if you missed part one, you might want to go watch part one first or catch it after. It doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter. But this is part two, so we're halfway in to what we were doing. Um, does anybody want to do a shout out or you want me to do a shout out? What do you guys want to do? Brian, Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to do some shout outs here. We got Ralph and Cassie Francis. Adam for Christ is here. We have, of course, you, Sandy Diva, there in the comments. Jeff is there. Let's see, who else? Joe Bloor. Hey, Joe. Always looking forward to your jokes. Mandanimal. Who else? TD Mage 20. That looks like it's everybody. Welcome, everyone.
All right, so because I am using my phone, I cannot give out wrenches. It doesn't let me. Wait, does it let me on? Does it let me? Oh, it does. Okay, I can do it on my iPad because Adam for Christ and TD Mage were in the chat at the first show and should have wrenches, and they don't. And so is Mandanimal. I don't know why they're not showing as moderators. And now they will. Because I did say I was on as a thank you. Everyone who was at the last show was getting a moderator wrench, and you guys were here. So I don't know why there's no wrenches, but you should have them now. Wait, did they limit how many wrenches you can give?
Wait, do they?
Yeah, because it says, like, if I click on Adam for Christ, it says remove moderator, but I don't see a wrench.
Oh, that's weird.
And TD Mage 20, remove moderator, but I don't see.
Well, how many wrenches have you given away, Sandy? Do you know?
Oh, a ton. Everyone who showed up, I gave one to.
Okay. Maybe
So
they do limit it.
why? First, I'm going to have you. I want to talk about something. I need to ask you guys something in the chat while I look up if there's a maximum to the wrenches. True or false? Can taking fish oil make you allergic to shellfish? What do you guys remember? Hello, Gemini79 and Dean Aldridge. Good to see you both. Is anyone answering true or false? Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I was afraid I get kicked out for a minute. You guys are so quiet.
Oh, yeah. I get that feeling too whenever it's streaming on my channel. I'm like, where did you guys go? And then I'm talking for dead air for minutes. Yeah, it's unnerving. Yeah, but we have Eddie Von Kuhn. It used to be Keen, right? Or he spells it Kuhn. And that's not a Mandela effect, is it, Eddie?
No, it's Eddie Von Kuhn. He's doing that because people keep calling him Kuhn.
Oh.
Eddie Von Kuhn, but his name is Eddie Von Kuhn.
Yeah, where are you from, Eddie? I'm curious. It's a German name, right? Is it German? Gemini 79. Okay. All right. Yeah. So were you able to give Adam for Christ the wrench?
I
Sandy?
did. It says he's a moderator, but I don't see the wrench.
Oh, well, are you on the YouTube at the same time
Oh, wait,
streaming?
it updated. It updated. It updated.
Okay. It takes some time. Teresa Lynch just entered the chat. Hey, Teresa.
Yeah, see, for anyone who's wondering why there's so many wrenches in the chat, I am 8 subscribers away from
Well,
500. So
Sandy,
there are no,
explain the wrenches and what they do.
okay. I think most of them know, but it means you're a moderator on the channel. And I said I was doing a moderator frenzy for the top 22 Mandela Effects of 2022 show. So for part 1 and part 2, anyone who shows up for my channel, you're supporting me, so I'm giving out the wrenches. And you really only make up 10, like the people in the chat don't even make up 10% of my total subscriber base. So it looks like a lot right now, but that's because you were all here for this show. This way, if only 5 of you show up for another live stream, there's 5 of you in the chat. That's the way I see it, at least. Does that make sense? But we're only 8 subscribers away from 500. I can't believe it. For somebody who uploads like once a year, I'm amazed. You guys are awesome. So it's a big thank you to you for being here, for supporting my channel, even though I'm barely here. But we're changing that, right, Brian?
Yeah, we're changing that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
So
there is something I want to talk about while Teresa is here.
I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised the wrenches and not hammers, because sometimes we do have to use a little hammer time. You know, with some of the trolls that are out there. Just saying.
So Teresa recently, do you want me to share what happened, Teresa? Is that okay? Is it okay to tell them what happened? If not, I'll try to work around it.
Bam, 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 bam.
Teresa says it's okay. All right, so recently, Teresa, for the very first time in her life, she was at a restaurant. She had fried shrimp, like, not like she normally does, but she's eaten shrimp her whole life. And she had an anaphylactic. She had an anaphylactic reaction. She had to go to the emergency room. And apparently, you can develop an allergy to shellfish at any time in your life, but it's most common for women, and it's most common to happen in adulthood. However, Teresa found something, and Brian, let me go to, do you have the image up? See, I can't see a preview. I don't know. Can you stop sharing the intro? Because I don't want the intro to show. Brian? Hello? Is Brian there? Brian, are you there? He's muted. I can't hear you, Brian. Jeff, are you there? Am I alone? Am I just talking to the chat?
I'm here.
I don't know what's going on, Brian. He
Looks
has
like
the
he's
picture.
muted.
Yeah, but I asked him to take down. He's sharing 2 screens. I'm gonna add one and hope it's the right one. If it's the intro, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, Brian just dropped out. So I'm guessing Brian's computer crashed.
Yeah,
I'll
probably.
try to explain as best as I can until Brian gets back. So, Teresa's okay. Obviously, she said the chat. She's doing great, which is good. But it looks like taking too much fish oil can make you allergic to shellfish. Did anyone know that? I'm not saying it's a Mandela effect. But my stepdad used to take it. My mom takes it. I know so many people who take fish oil, and I've never heard of anyone becoming allergic to shellfish. And yet, it's saying that that can happen from taking fish oil. Has anyone ever heard of this? I have no idea where Brian is. Let me see. It will ding. Let me send him a message. Where are you, Brian? So I'm going to read what I sent Brian, though. This is something Teresa sent me. It says, if you take fish oil supplements and begin to develop common shellfish allergy, discontinue use. Has anyone ever heard of fish oil supplements creating shellfish allergies? Because this is a first for us. I've never heard of this. Jeff, have you ever heard of that?
No, never. And there's a few people saying they never heard of it in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, Maddie says negative.
Gemini 79, that's news to me. No, from Man Animal. TD Mage says no, never heard of it in his life.
It says new to me. Oh, I think Brian's backstage. He is. There he is. What happened, Brian?
I'm not sure. I just got booted out.
Okay, well, it's probably because you were sharing two things at the same time. I would think that's what it was.
I removed the intro, but I think the outro went away. So we'll get that back. Don't worry.
I wouldn't worry
Right.
about it until the end of the show anyway. It's okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover. So you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, we do. We are waiting for you because the first one is your Mandela Effect. So let me, Jeff, I'm going to share your screen, okay?
All right.
You have to go to full screen, Jeff.
No, I have to go. I have to go to full screen. Again, everything's in separate windows, so it takes a second.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So I want to ask everyone out there, what is the name of this popular toy from the 1980s? Does anybody have a clue? Pogo blank.
Yeah. So Eddie Von Keen says, oh, I'm like going to tap the wrong screen. Eddie says Pogo, Bogo. Why won't it click Eddie's? It's clicking the Maddie over and over again. Won't click Eddie. There we go. My goodness. This thing's buggy. Maddie says Pogo Ball, ALL. TD Mage says Pogo Ball, ALL. Dean is guessing bounce. Man, the animal says instant broken leg. Yes, I agree. And then we have Ralph coming in with Pogo BOL. Frank Nunez with BLL. Karen remembers toy, not the name. Maddie Baal. Gemini 79 had one. Pogo Ball. BALL. Joe Bloor says Dale. And Eddie Von Keen says walking on Saturn. Okay.
That's what it looks like.
It does.
That's great. You guys crack me up.
All the time. All right, Jeff, you can go on.
Okay, believe it or not, okay, here it is. I remember it being spelled normal. Pogo Ball, BALL. Okay. But as you can see above, the original has always been Pogo Bal. B-A-L.
Because that makes sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all. Unless it's like in another country, I could see it maybe being like that. But we're talking about here in the USA and in English-speaking countries, it's B-A-L. Next slide. Jeff? Oh. Okay. So there you see, this is the way it is now with the Pogo B-A-L. The way it's not, I don't remember it this way. You guys? Any of you remember it? Maddie says we live in the devil's matrix. I'm starting to believe that because everything is Baal worship here. Baal worship.
I agree.
What were you saying, Jeff?
He said he agreed.
Just that I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maddie.
So, Adam for Christ says it's trippy. Yeah. Anybody remember this? I don't remember it like this.
I know this one hit me hard because I remember it different than this.
I love what Maddie said. Yeah, no, it's not a new Mandela Effect, Teresa. We talked about this in 2022 at some point. I don't know if you were there or whatever, but yeah, we talked about this. These are all like a reboot of 2022. Vintage 1980s Pogo Ball. This is Residue, B-A-L-L. But what's strange is it also says Pogo Bal. So go figure, right? Maybe they were trying to get more search results. And at the bottom, like in the headline right there, you see, if you zoom in, Jeff, if you could zoom in a little bit there, at the bottom there, it shows Vintage Hasbro Pogo Ball, B-A-L-L. Zoom out.
Zooming is horrible in
I know. I don't.
Clicker. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, but he's doing a good job. It's actually stable.
He's doing great.
Yeah, Gemini 79. I totally agree. Yeah, it looks weird. So Hasbro Vintage 1987. Karen Maloney says, I think the Emmys and AI are demonic. I think we are in the beginning of the end times. I agree, Karen. I mean, it's looking that way. Because now we got all this facial recognition. I could go off on a sidetrack, but that's how they're going to be able to identify Christians in the end times. Let's see. Okay, Hasbro Vintage 1987 Pogo Ball, B-A-L-L. Again, more residue. Next slide. Again, more residue.
The black and pink one.
Yeah, I like the artwork that came with them. They weren't just plain and ordinary, and you could. I guess maybe this guy's jumping off a trampoline, or maybe he's being suspended by strings. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know if you could get that high on that thing. I tried just like the commercial, and I ended up hurting myself. Next slide. Yeah, you got to be careful with these things. But they were a lot of fun, and you didn't have to have a handle. It was like I guess this is kind of maybe what led to the Segway, where you could like balance on it and with the wheels, and you could go. It's kind of like that. Just more of a balancing and bouncing toy. Yeah, I want to say my best friend across the street from me, Andre, he used to have this thing, and we played. Go ahead, next slide. Hasbro Pogo Ball. Yeah, residue for Pogo Ball. B-A-L-L. Which it doesn't make sense because what's being displayed in the text doesn't line up with in the picture. You see, you'd have to be either a total idiot or just like a complete, like, just overlooking the product, because I've seen that before. People will sometimes overlook the product. But yeah, that's messed up.
That doesn't make sense to me. I used to sell on eBay, and you're looking at the product while you're writing out the description. It doesn't make sense that someone would sell something and not spell the product right. The only thing I could say is it's possible spell check auto-corrected it. Did we lose Brian again?
No, I'm here.
All right.
So we're looking at this other slide here. Again, this more residue. These look like reputable. Well, one of them looks like a reputable site that says Pogo Ball. One of these looks like it's from Twitter, and it says 1980s Pogo Ball. So next slide. Tons of residue, guys. It's very, very easy to find residue on this one.
That's the last one, Brian.
Okay. You want me to do the next effect as well?
If
I'm
you
kind
want.
of on a roll. I'm like butter. I'm on a roll.
All right. Yeah, I'll pull it up real quick.
Just give me a second, guys. Like I said, it's a little bit harder because I have to open up pop-ups to add the slides to the screen and then make it full screen. It just takes a minute. Just let me know when you're ready for me to present, Jeff.
Has anybody seen Walking Trees? That was a big one, I think, last year or the year before.
It was the year before. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so many videos of trees walking. I don't know how anybody could mistake that for.
2020 was the year of the trees. In 2020, we had walking trees. We had 7 different types of rainbow trees besides the one that Moneybags found. We also had Teresa's social distancing trees. There was so much stuff. Oh, and I had the zombie trees at Halloween.
Yeah,
In
well,
2020.
recently, I don't know if I talked about this before, but recently I found out, speaking of trees, like if you look in Western Texas and you draw a line straight up from Western Texas, 80% of the country lives east of that line. And from there until you get to about Nevada, there's like almost nothing. There's like no vegetation really.
20% of people is still alive. I'm just
what?
20% of the population is still a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I know it's all kind of spread out, but like once you reach California, then the population is booming, and like the northwestern side of the country as well.
It's all because of water. It's all because of water.
Yes, water and trees and irrigation. Because I've heard that some of those areas they only have like 3 different species of trees, whereas east of that line, where you get more of the precipitation,
hundreds.
Yes, hundreds of variations of trees. It's just like when you go to Brazil, they got like way more birds variations because of all the tree variations, and obviously there's more types of people there too. So it's all relative.
All right, so Jeff is ready. I'm going to add it to the stream. Give me 1 minute.
All right. So I'm reading this next one. This presentation is a random assortment of stuff that didn't justify its own folder. So guys, enjoy this one. I don't see there being a connection just yet, but okay. So Jeff and I don't remember the N in Lincoln Park ever being upside down. Do you? Yeah, I don't remember it being like. Yeah, it's like it's backwards.
Flipped. It's
flipped. So yeah, the ends are backwards. I don't remember this in Lincoln Park ever. And Jeff, you say you found this one also?
I found it after. Well, I didn't find it. I saw it after Sandy had mentioned it. I was looking it up.
Yeah, this is weird. It doesn't even look right. I've seen the album hundreds of times. My sister had the Meteora album. I had the original album, and no way was it like that. The ends are flipped. Go ahead, next slide. I think I had the hybrid theory one, the original. Okay, so Lincoln Park. It says here it was upside down from 2000 to 2003, and Jeff doesn't remember them ever being 0 instead of Lincoln Park as well, as having no memory of the 2007 logo. Does anybody remember these here?
So, do you remember Lincoln Park being called 0 when they first started out? For 2 years, the band name was 0. And look at that logo.
No way.
And Jeff is does not remember the N's and the R's going down like that. Also, the A, I think that's a new change. Do you remember the A doing that?
No,
When
I
we
don't.
covered this, I don't think it was like that.
It wasn't. No.
It was just the R and the N that was the problem at the time. Now the
Yes.
A is over the P.
Yeah, that's new for sure. That was definitely not there when we looked at it.
Now, TD Mage does remember. Oh, you remember the presentation I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, this is another image here of the Lincoln Park. I guess the
History.
chronology of the logos we're looking at here from start to finish. R.I.P. Chester Bennington, the lead singer.
Oh, that's weird. How did you remove yourself?
He must have hit the stop sharing.
Ah. Okay. Yes, Jeff, you can remove yourself when you're done presenting. Like you just did. You just have to let me know when you're ready to start sharing again.
Hey, Mustard Seed of Faith.
Burgos also just jumped in. We have Maddie, Dean Aldridge, High Pockets, Frank Nunez, Eddie Von Keem, Karen Maloney,
Hey,
Joe Bloor,
Sandy,
Sheriff of YouTube.
they're all coming here to support you.
I know, and that's why they all have wrenches. After the frenzy ends
Sandy.
today, if we just lost Jeff.
Sandy, did you remember to bring me a wrench too?
Are you well? Make a comment. Let's see.
Well, it's not letting me do it on StreamYard, so I have to do it through the OS or the.
Yes, you do. I'm keeping an eye out for Jeff. Because be right back.
There's a little delay.
It kicked him off. No, you do not have a wrench, but now you do.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're
So
welcome.
kind, too kind. You know what's interesting to me while we're waiting for Jeff? While waiting for Jeff, I wanted to say that it's always interesting. We talk about synchronicities and everything, but it's funny when you talk to people and the person you're talking to knows more about you than you know about yourself.
Yeah, it is funny.
That's a whole nother video.
Everybody's giving you wrenches.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, Sandy.
So again, for anybody just showing up, those who support me for part 1 and part 2 of this video is getting wrenches. That way, if only a couple of you make another live stream or a premiere or something, there's a couple moderators in the chat because we've been seeing a lot of sketchy things in the chat recently. So this way I have a good selection of
the thing is
moderators.
we never know if it's a YouTube bot or if it's a real person just trying to cause trouble. It happens with trolls, it happens to every channel. You always get those people that and they want to use it for marketing reasons too. There's also the marketing capability of YouTube. So they'll put something in the comments like, here, check out my site. I have a live webcam and stuff like that. And you got to be careful about clicking on that stuff, of course.
Yes. We have a question from the chat from Dean Aldridge.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, No, you can go. It's okay.
Okay, so no, it's your show. You read it.
He says the longest river now is the Nile. I remember the Amazon River, or is it just me? In the chat, everyone. Do you remember the Amazon River or the Nile River being the longest? So Mandanimal says Amazon was the longest for him.
For me too.
Yeah, same here.
My chat is delayed in StreamYard, but God
Hey,
Michael says Amazon.
Frank Nunes says he's going to need a double wrench.
I would double wrench if I could, but you can't. I think it may just be you, but I can't say that for sure. Because everyone in the chat remembers Amazon. Does anyone remember Nile? Let's reword.
I feel like they should have taught us in school more trivia. Like it could have made learning more fun.
My teachers did do that.
Some of my teachers did, not all of
some
them.
my teachers did. There we go.
Yeah,
Eddie Van Keen says the Nile. You're not alone. You are not alone, Dean. Eddie Van Keen remembers the Nile being the longest.
Wait, which one does he remember being the longest?
The Amazon, but Dean remembers it being the Nile. I mean, yeah, the Nile. I'm losing my mind.
Okay, so two people remember the Nile, but what is it now? Is it the Nile?
It's the Amazon.
No, now. I'm saying now.
It's the Amazon River, Brian.
Oh.
Dean remembers it being the Nile. And Eddie Van Keen says he remembers the Nile. The Amazon is really wide.
No, what you're not understanding was Dean says the longest river now is the Nile. I remember the Amazon. I think you got it backwards, Sandy.
I have it backwards?
Yeah, Dean says he remembers the longest river being the Amazon. Read his comment, 8:13 p.m.
No, he says the longest river now is the Nile.
Yeah, I remember the Amazon. He said that.
Oh, he's got it backwards. Okay, so no, everyone agrees with you, Dean.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Except for Eddie.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's why we're all here to talk about this stuff, because you got to. The first thing you want to do is check and confirm with other people what they remember.
Eddie Van Keen and Analog Line both remember the Nile. God Michael said wide is the widest. And it says Brian is in denial. No, Sandy was. Sandy was the one confused. And Dean is excited now. That's good. Yes, Sandy is in denial. Correct. All right. Jeff, before are you ready to present, or do you want to do your residue first?
I have everything ready to go.
Because I only see the three. I do not see your presentation. You're not presenting.
I am, though.
I don't see it.
I went to the next slide.
I don't see you in the backstage to add you to the stream. Stop presenting. Start presenting again. That's your best bet. It's probably, yep, see, there you are. Now we're good. So we're at number 2. Add the stream. And then I got to make it full screen again. Give me 1 second. Now we're good. Okay. Number 2. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, I see a giant number 2.
And then after Jeff goes to the next slide.
That's all right. Sold at Target, Pixie products are popular for collabing with beauty YouTubers and having high-end feel at a drugstore price. If you know the brand, which logo do you remember? Left or right? Just say left or right, 1 or 2, either one.
Or I don't know. It's okay if you don't know. It is a beauty product. I understand. But for those of us that know Pixie, this is very upsetting to both myself and Fizzy.
I don't know. It kind of gives, that first one kind of gives me the feel of as above, so below.
That is not a left or right word, Mandanimal.
Man, that first one's hurt my eyes.
I think like 99.9% of my chat is male. I don't know where Teresa or Mustard Seed of Faith went. Philo isn't here. Philo, where are you? No one knows. Now how does you were here? I gave people moderator wrenches. I don't understand. Oh, maybe you were in Brian's chat. Or you can mean Mikado. Maybe you were in Brian's chat during. No, 'cause I don't know.
All right, we got enough answers.
No, we have no answers because it's all
No.
guys in the chat.
But the thing is, we went through this in 2022, and a lot of your listeners were in my channel at the time. I'm wondering what they remember then.
Well, back then, Philo Fire, she did remember it like I do. Teresa did, and Fizzy did, but they're not here, so.
Well, I'm going to say that I remember the one on the right.
Yes, that's what I remember too.
It reminds me of Pixie Sticks for some reason, the candy.
Yeah. The one on the right looks correct to me. The one on the left looks stupid.
We can go on. Let's get the stuff they do now. Gemini 79, thank you, says the right. That is what I remember too.
It's getting real windy outside, guys. That storm is brewing. The cold front coming through.
That's the same cold front that dropped like a foot of snow on Denver too.
Man.
It was touching Denver and Tucson and Columbus, Ohio at the same time. Isn't that crazy?
It is. I know this brand well. I've seen it featured for years on beauty YouTube channels. The period was never on the bottom in my past. And again, like I said, it looks like that as above, so below.
Yep. Same positioning too.
I don't
Left
even know
is
what
up,
that.
right is
Honestly,
down.
I don't know what that saying means. I've just seen it on a lot of
That's the Baphomet saying. That is the
sites
site.
that I'll just say sites that call out the
Brian,
things.
that's
I've seen it as above, so below depicted in as like a Baphomet or something. It's spinning, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
There it is.
And we've also seen it. It's spinning for you, but not for anyone else. That's your slow internet, Brian.
Okay. Well, I got a card in the mail to get a gigabit. I'm gonna get maybe possibly upgrade.
Okay.
All right. 3.
But we also most recently saw that same positioning with Forrest Gump. Right hand up, left hand down, making peace signs.
Yeah. Another logo that's changed is the 80s TV show Miami Vice. Which logo has the colors you remember, guys?
So 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Maddie says 3.
3 for me.
Jeff says 3. Anyone
I feel
else?
like I'm leaning toward 3, but I've never seen the show before, so I'm leaning toward 3.
I'm waiting. My chat is not updating in StreamYard. I see all the chat answers.
Yeah, same here. It's not updating. So Eddie says 2 was the main one, but it varied at times. Dean says 3. Joe Bloor says 3 and 2. TD Mage 3. All right, go on. I guess we got enough votes. I guess.
Shelby says 3.
All right. So it was only ever 3 for me. The pink and aqua, the colors of the 80s, like mustard and avocado, were green in the 70s. But here's the weird part. All 4 are actually correct. The logo changed color each season. I don't remember that at all. Do you?
I don't even and I don't remember the actual video behind it changing color as well. You can see the water's all different colors.
Now, I never watched an episode, but I saw enough advertisements for it, enough commercials, enough DVDs, all of that, with the one logo I remember, and never this other stuff. So that's definitely a change for me. even though I never watched an episode.
High Pocket says, I must have only watched one season then. Exactly. I must have only watched one season too. Interesting. Sheriff of YouTube remembers a cursive logo. Maddie says no way. Dean Aldridge says no. And Ryogami says, I think 3 looks like the colors in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Shelby's a 3. Good, Brian.
The color of the logo is how I remember it on everything, except the TV screen. The opening credits is where I remember the logo from.
Except the TV screen, the opening credits, which is where I remember the logo from. Oh.
And what's this Miami Vice 2 and Miami Vice 3 nonsense? Apparently, it was the title for the music soundtracks in the USA, but a VHS video in Finland? Video, music, or movie? I have no idea. Have you ever heard of these?
So have you guys ever heard of Miami Vice 2 and 3? Either as a soundtrack or a video if you're from Finland. I don't think there's anyone from Finland here, but you never know. Do you remember the soundtrack being called Miami Vice 2?
Not at all.
We got all no's in the chat. Dean, Mandanimal, TD Mage 20. High Pockets.
And a no from me.
No, and me, and Jeff, and Brian. So here we have the soundtrack that was sold in the United States with the white car, Miami Vice 2. Miami Vice 3, which is sold in Finland. Miami Vice 2, The Prodigal Son, whatever that is.
Four. All right, the last oddity isn't a logo, but a passable change to our pop culture history. True or false? Besides starring on Who's the Boss, making her teen steam exercise video, actress Alyssa Milano was an international pop star.
So if you saw this before, answer what you originally answered, true or false. Do you remember ever hearing or learning that Alyssa Milano was an international pop star? I'm not talking about she made an album. I'm talking about she was like, name some, like Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears. Was Alyssa Milano like a Britney Spears? Internationally. True or false? So far we have true from Eddie Von Keen. Oh, huge in Japan. Joe Bloor said she was big in Japan. Dean Aldridge has never heard of her. Shelby Norwood says false. Only Who's the Boss for me. False was not on MTV, says Frank Nunez. A lot of B or C lists were big in Japan. You know, I gotta tell you a personal story. It's interesting that you say that. A lot of B or C lists were big in Japan. Adam for Christ is false. I can't put it on the screen yet. because StreamYard's acting stupid tonight. There we go. So, my Uncle Johnny, and this is just stuff that was told to me before I was born. My Uncle Johnny was in a band, and he was given a contract to tour Japan. Like, he could have been a big singer. His band could have been big, but my grandparents said, "Are you crazy? You're 17 years old. No way." And that's what happened. So it's just funny that it was also Japan. And I don't know. It's just weird. So Japan. It's something with Japan. And it's also crazy because it would have been like, right, like maybe 15 years after my grandfather served in the war against Japan. So that's weird too. Maybe that was a factor. I don't know. But yeah, it's like Japan will take anything. Any music at all, Japan says, yes, please. At least back then. But we have more falses in the chat. Adam for Christ, Gemini 79. And Karen Maloney only knows her from Who's the Boss and Charm, which is not on my screen to show yet.
Okay, so the answer is true. I have to ask Sandy and you guys something real quick. I'm looking at the weather radar. Does anybody remember ever these storms swirling like they do in the middle of the country, like a hurricane?
No, I've talked about them. That's one of the things I've talked about.
I know. I just remember them swooping down like a wave. That's all I remember.
Same.
Like a line of storms, but I don't remember any swirling.
I never really paid much attention to that to say one way or the other on that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Brian and I were weather nerds apparently because we used to love watching.
I used to love watching the Weather Channel for the music and the updates, of course, on the weather. So Alyssa Milano was a pop star in Japan in the 80s, recording 4 albums, a greatest hits album, and several music videos, as well as touring in Japan.
And a couple of her albums went platinum.
Let's see. You're gonna have to zoom in so I can see that, Jeff. Could you?
Oh, I can. I can see it.
Oh, you can see it, Sandy?
Yeah. It says that during those years, she was also a huge multi-platinum selling recording artist in Japan. She said this on Jimmy Kimmel Live. She said, Jimmy Kimmel said, "You're like the Japanese David Hasselhoff." So these are all images of her albums, videos, music videos that she made. I thought I had a video in here. I guess not, unless it's coming up.
Is this a change to our history? I don't know. But I do find it odd that I had never heard of this and that it was kept from Americans for decades until her videos started showing up on YouTube in recent years. Is this new information for you too?
So guys, if you really want to hear Alyssa Milano sing, her cringy videos are on YouTube. They're so cringy. They are horrible. Sorry. They are so bad though.
That's something they should ban. That should violate community guidelines. She's terrible.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Joe said? Did you see what Joe said in the chat? He said, well, Italians have Asian roots like Troy was in Asia Minor.
I did not know that. I'm Italian. I didn't know I had Asian roots.
I don't know. I've never done one of those tests. Guess I'll have to wait till Father's Day when it's 50% off.
Yeah, I'm not doing that test.
Or Mother's Day.
I don't like. I'm not cool with giving my genetic code to the government. I'm not doing that. No way.
The thing is, they probably already have it with as many times you've had blood drawn and everything.
How does Pastor of Muppets, after all that, not have a wrench? We need to fix that. It's fixed.
I thought it was
Good
Master of
night.
Puppets. Oh, it's Pastor of Muppets. I like that.
It's Pastor of Muppets. Good night.
Who's going? Oh, good night.
Good night.
You're very welcome. Thank
Good night,
you for
Pastor of
being here.
Muppets.
Oh, you're waiting for me to take it off the screen. I'm like, what's he doing? He's waiting for me.
That was the last one.
Have you guys ever heard of what is it, La Nina? When the cooler,
Yes.
the Pacific waters get cooler, and then all of a sudden these storms just keep coming.
Yes.
And that's what we're going through right now is a La Nina.
La Nina years usually mean no snow for Philly, all rain, and then El Nino means we get a lot of snow. And then the neutral years, we get some snow.
Yeah. But I do think Tornado Alley is shifting further southeast, though. It used to be in the Midwest. Yeah. I
Are
think.
you ready for this?
What?
Tornado Alley. I looked at, you know what? Brian, before I present Jeff, can you Google a map of Tornado Alley and just show it on the screen?
There are 2 Tornado Alleys now. There's Dixie Alley and there's
The other one is all the way up in Nebraska and Colorado. Since when?
Wait, hold on. There's 4 Tornado Alleys?
There's one. That's what I'm saying. Pull up a map.
I'm confused. Hang on. This is where the most tornadoes are occurring.
That is awesome. Pastor of Muppets is working away. Oh, I can't do that. Hold on, I gotta go over here. Working away at the nuke plant in Darlington, Ontario, Canada. How did your mom? You're gonna tell me I did not give your mom a wrench? Was she not here for the first show? Was she on your channel?
She might not have been there for that show, Sandy.
Oh. Well,
yeah, that's okay. That is Tornado Alley up through.
I have to present you. Hold on.
Okay, you see it?
Now they can.
Now that's only up until 2019. I'm sure it's probably shifted more to the southeast, but yeah, from 1950 to 1984, look where it was. It was just in the Midwest, the most common area for tornadoes. But now you're seeing them all over Mississippi and Alabama, and even like you probably do you see tornadoes much, Jeff, where you're at?
Not in my area, but not too far from my area. We do.
So they're more north of you or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that map off to the left that has the red, orange, and yellow?
Which one? This one?
I don't know what this one is. You got to click on it. Yes, that one. What does that say?
Average annual frequency of tornadoes. But what year is this? Oh, 1950 to 1995. You see that? So it has shifted.
And then there's Florida. What is going on there? And,
yeah.
And Pennsylvania. And what's the other state at the top? That's it. Is that New Hampshire? No, it's Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, and
yeah.
Is that Rhode Island?
No,
Connecticut. That's Connecticut.
Indiana gets them sometimes. Chicago will get some sometimes, but the main area is right there.
That's nuts.
This is let's see. This is Tornado Alley now. So you see, it's shifted like further south and east.
You know what else is shifted?
They were constantly shifting.
The seasons have shifted too.
Oh yeah.
And fall for me, autumn, my favorite season of all the seasons. is practically non-existent in Philadelphia anymore. Hi, Beth. Beth.
Dean says it's 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. Good night, Dean. Thanks for coming.
Good night, Dean.
Good night, Dean.
Beth says making a pizza. What kind of pizza are you having, Beth? I like thin crust personally. That's my new favorite. I like thin crust. Yeah. And for me, it's like steak and what is that? Philly cheesesteak. I like Philly cheesesteak on my pizza.
So this one is going to have video in this, just to give you a heads up.
All right. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, I'm going to mute. Okay. Brian, we should mute for the video. Just let Jeff read.
All right. We all know that dolphins and whales make vocal sounds. But did you know that most fish make sounds and talk to one another too?
Yeah, you can go on.
It was previously believed that only aquatic mammals like the whale made sounds, but now it's known that most fish, even those in aquariums, can make sounds or talk. So many fish make sounds that coral reefs are described to sound like forests full of chirping birds, very busy and very loud. Fish have talked for 155 million years, and now you can hear their voices.
So it's up to you if you want to read first and then hit play. It's up to you.
Here are a few examples.
Fish can make, especially on a coral reef.
Here are a few examples recording of the sounds fish make.
When we're listening to a reef, we hear the snapping shrimp crackling away. And then as we add in chirping, perhaps, of some fish that are trying to impress a female on a nesting site. And then we've got the clownfish that are using sounds to communicate within a colony and particularly to warn each other of a predator. These are fish and invertebrates that are making sound for a range of different reasons. They're sometimes trying to find prey, and they might be hunting together, so they're actually talking to each other while they do this. They might be trying to detect predators. Obviously, they want to avoid any predators. But they're also then using sound to establish a territory, to impress each other. So it's a bit like listening to a full orchestra, and it produces this wonderful cacophony of biological sound. And it's recent advances in technology that are allowing us to better understand. Whenever I tell people that fish have ears, they look at me like I'm mad. So what this does is it gives the viewer a stereo feel of being underwater, or even a surround sound feel of being underwater. But as biologists, what we can then do is to look at where individual sounds are coming from. And the way we do this is to look at the time of arrival of a sound. Sound travels very fast underwater. And with this array of hydrophones, we can look at whether one sound is just a millisecond behind in one of the recordings. And then when we add the video, it then allows us to work out which fish is making which sound. Although it was really innovated for filmmaking, we found that it's now helping us to unlock a whole new dimension of underwater sound with our science. We're only just beginning to understand these natural soundscapes with our hydrophone technology, but sadly, we're also... So what this does is it gives...
That's it. Stop here a second. Okay. I just want to point out that that last fish was called the midshipman, and it makes you wonder, could they hear that fish? Why would they call it a midshipman? It sounds like a ship. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, why would they name it a midshipman? And then it turns out that its voice sounds like a ship's horn. Do you know what I'm saying? I just find it weird.
Yeah. All right, that's it for that one.
Yeah, so but I don't know if you guys heard it. See, when you're presenting sound, you have to mute, otherwise it echoes.
Okay.
They realized that fish were talking to one another. Like, I think his example was like, "Hey, is there any food over here?" or something like that. They noticed that fish were responding to one another. They're actually speaking to one another. These aren't just sounds that they make. They're actually communicating. And that's why they say that fish can talk. And that's new for me.
Yep, me too. All right, I'm going to pull up this next one.
Yeah. They probably are swearing at their owners, Adam, for Christ. Adam for Christ says, "Hope no one's pet fish are swearing at their owners." "You forgot to feed me again, Teresa Lynch." You ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read one. Once again, our skies have changed, at least for me they have. Specifically, the aurora borealis and our atmosphere has a new feature that is baffling scientists. Now I'm on a delay because, you know. All right, so scientists are trying to make sense of a new phenomenon happening at the poles. Vortices, which punch through our magnetic field, allowing solar winds to penetrate our atmosphere. The gap in our magnetic field is called a polar cusp. And when auroras appear here, they can do something I've never heard of before. What are the dayside auroras? They can appear when the sun is shining. Have you ever heard of daytime or dayside auroras? Yes or no in the chat. Have you ever heard of aurora borealis appearing in the day? Waiting on answers from the chat, Joe. So Karen Maloney says no. Beth Bromley is a no. High Pockets is a no. CD Mage is a no. No, night only, says Frank. Anita is a no. Gemini is a no. Adam for Christ is a no. All right, we can go on, Jeff. Susan Wolf, welcome, says no. So here are some pictures of daytime auroras happening at the poles. The sun's still shining. Now, the farther you are from the pole, the fainter it gets. So we have a person on top of a mountaintop in the top right. He's farther away. You can still see the aurora, but it's faint. The ones that are really green, they're at the poles. Or the closest land to the poles now, I should say. Is that the only? I was going to say, I know there's more pictures. I mean, purple and blue, too. That's crazy. These are all in the daytime. We're going to get to that high pockets. That's coming up. Okay, another change for me is the colors. Until the Mandela effect, auroras were only green hues in my path. Then I started seeing green and red, but a couple of years ago, pink and yellow auroras started popping up, which is really strange. I'll explain to you why it's strange. Because the green and red makes sense. Oxygen is the green. Oxygen makes green atoms. Nitrogen makes red atoms. So they're lighting up the colors of the atoms in the sky, green for oxygen and red for nitrogen. But what was making pink and yellow? I have no idea, but what I do know is auroras are sometimes full rainbow now. Have you ever seen rainbow auroras with all the colors present? Because I've never seen this before. You can go on, Jeff. It's okay. Because I have more pictures. I want them to see the color variation in the auroras. Joe Bloor says no. Big no for me. That is beautiful. I wonder what our ancestors thought of these, you know? Like, I think that would be terrifying if you didn't know what it was, especially that pink one in the bottom left.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. They aren't beautiful, though.
They are. You can go on. More unusual colors and daytime cusp aurora. So the daytime cusp aurora is on the bottom, more unusual colors on the top. So we have green, yellow, white, pink, pink, yellow, green, and then the daytime. Beth remembers mostly yellow and green. And some auroras appear to be white now. They look like clouds, but they're not clouds. I'm just showing you guys the variation in the color and more daytime ones. And again, this can happen at the South Pole as well, not just the North Pole. It could possibly be more stuff in the air, Mandanimal, correct? Okay. Have you ever heard of black and anti-black auroras? So in this image, the black in between the colors is not the sky. It's an aurora that's black. Have you ever heard of black or anti-black auroras? You can go on, Jeff. Caramel, and he says, this is just weird. A new auroral phenomenon, the anti-black aurora. The real definition is above, but I've come to understand that the lighter breaks in the aurora are black or anti-black because the particles lessen, causing gaps in the aurora. Never heard of this, have you? So the reason why the color isn't there is because it's a little more sparse and instead shows up black. In other words, it doesn't glow, which is just weird. Wasted rainbows. Wouldn't it be wasted rainbows?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Anita has never heard of the black ones. Completely new, says TD Mage. Never, says Maddie. All right, we can go on. So here is someone trying to point out the black aurora, showing you arrows where this should be part of the aurora, but it's black. This is the black aurora. And how the particles coming down are more sparse, so it's black. It's a little confusing. Mustard See a Face says no. Brian, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a video of the black aurora. I know it keeps going in and out, but there we go. He's showing you the black aurora. I don't see it, but he says you can see it. Oh, I see how. Okay, so when it zooms out, you can see the star, and then the star is covered. You see if the stars are covered at the bottom where it's black? You can see through it. It's not just straight black. You can see the star through it, but it's covered. So look at the bottom of the gray where it's black, and you see the star is still covered even though it's in the black part.
I've never heard of this before.
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. See, Joe, that was Cirrus for me, and now it's Sirius. It's just strange. Is that the last slide? Oh, no, there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
There are 3 new types of auroras. Diffuse, which is just the sky looking like a different color. Pulsating, and dunes. At least, again, new to me. So this is a pulsating aurora. And diffuse is above, where it just looks like the sky is different colors. I wish there was no music, so I'm just going to talk over it. Because I don't know if it's copyright-free music. I'm not sure. There we go. So go on before it starts playing again. Go, go, go. Okay. But dunes are a new pattern observed that looks like the ripples in sand dunes. Are these new for you as well? Has anyone ever seen these dune patterned auroras before.
Hi, Philo.
Oh gosh, you were so loud in my ear.
Sorry.
It's okay. Hi,
Hi,
Philo.
Philo.
And I agree with
Go on.
Anita. God's trying to get all our attention in the heavens.
And maybe
Hi,
the
Mom.
auroras should be visible everywhere. Joe Bloor says last 6 years, and everyone else is a no. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Finally, I have no memory of the aurora borealis making sounds. Do you? I don't remember them making sounds, but some people
Not
do.
my reality.
You want to go ahead and read that before I play the rest, Sandy?
Yep. From static to pops and clicks, even whistles and chirps. The aurora borealis makes a ton of noise if you're close enough to it and you're listening for it. A long clip. Wow. I think this is the last one, I hope. It's a long one. So, transient luminous events. Now, this is actually something we talked about before. As a bonus, we talked about blue jets and red sprites years ago. And Fizzy said they talked about the new green ghosts. Do you remember all of these electrical phenomenon? Half of these are new to me. So the gigantic jet is new. We've talked about the elves, we talked about the green ghosts, the sprites, but the secondary jets, the blue starters, those are new. And so is the halo. Blue jets we've talked about. There's just a lot more than there used to be. And I think I have videos of them too, and photos. So the green ghost is like an after image effect.
That's the last one, Sandy.
Yep. Maddie says, these are new, and I'd known these because I studied weather in college.
Wait, who studied weather?
It's on the screen, Maddie.
Yeah. So I want to ask Maddie, do you remember all those swirling storms in like the Midwest? Like hurricanes? Whenever there's a cold front or anything?
I'm going to look to see what they're actually called because I can't.
I mean, every time you have a cold front that comes through, there's always a swirling storm. I just remember them coming down in waves.
Oh, they're called bomb cyclones. That's the bomb.
Oh, bomb cyclones.
Yeah. and they can happen in the middle of the. I covered that. That was another one that we could have covered. I don't know if it's in this folder or not, because I covered it in February of 2022.
I'm starting to believe. You remember there was that one hurricane that went up the coast and then it came back down again and hit Florida twice?
Yep.
That right there tells me something's up. Oh, derechos. Remember we talked about derechos?
Yeah, I talked about it in 2020 after it hit my city.
Yeah, you saw those big wall clouds.
No, I remember it going from. It was noon, bright and sunny, and then it was nighttime in seconds.
I'll read this one.
Okay.
So, Sandy says here, I think I have found a new Mandela food item. Not a single person I asked remembers or has heard of these. You remember Gerber vegetables and beef? Or beef and egg noodles?
No, not these.
Those.
Not these.
Okay.
Those are just discontinued flavors.
Okay. So we all know Gerber baby food, but do you remember or have you ever heard of Gerber adult singles? We're talking about Gerber made for adults here.
So in the chat, if answer what you originally answered if you remember me covering this one. Do you remember there being Gerber baby food but for adults? And it does sound like birds, Beth. You're right. And so did the fish underwater. A lot of them sounded like birds chirping. It's like we have forest sounds on Earth, underwater, and in the sky. It's kind of nuts. And while we're waiting for some answers, Mustard Seed of Faith has a question. Brian.
What is it?
I'm trying to get it on the screen.
Okay.
I'm looking for it.
Pastor of Muppets. I thought you were going to bed, Pastor of Muppets. I can see for millennials. Yes, I would probably agree with that statement. The millennials would probably get a kick out of this stuff.
Mustard Seed of Faith's comment is not in my. I can't put it on the screen. Oh wait, new comments. Did it just add it? No. I'm just gonna have to read it. Mustard Seed of Faith says, I have a question. The atheist community has been strangely quiet on the Mandela Effect. I was expecting a lot of ridicule and mockery from them, saying how stupid they think it is. But instead, there is nothing. Zip. I don't know. I don't know. I assume there's some atheists or agnostics who are in the community, but I don't know. I have no idea. I do know that one example would be the guys from Good Mythical Morning. I hear they used to be Christian and they've turned their back on their faith, and they have made fun of the Mandela Effect many times. They think it's nonsense. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Are there any atheists here or agnostics? See, people may not want to share that. I don't know. I do know that most people, I will say that most people, if not all, are Mandela affected, whether they want to admit it or not. I've come across so many people who remember things the way we remember them. But
Everyone's
then they'll
Yeah.
like poo-poo the Mandela Effect, like it's not real and all this stuff, but they remember Uncle Sam, his hat having stripes.
They're all affected. They're in denial.
Yeah, they're in denial. Maybe they're scared. I don't know. But what I can tell you is they may not be highly affected. You have to find that one thing that they know for a fact has changed. So some people, you need to find that one thing. And if you don't find it, they're going to have the current reality on everything. But there will be something, even if it's just one thing that they are affected by. At least that's what I believe.
I agree.
Yeah, poo-poo. I couldn't think of another word. Dismiss. That's the word I was looking for. They dismiss it. They're very dismissive. And Pilot Fire says, I don't go in a box. All right, no one's answering. Except Maddie said ew. Not yes or no, just ew. You can go on. Go ahead, Brian. Did we lose Brian? Oh, yeah, he's backstage. Hold on. We lost Brian. Go ahead, Brian. We're waiting for you to read.
All right. So they were only around for 1 year, 1974, but they still were very well known for being disgusting. Why would you even eat one of those things?
Get ready to mute, Jeff. There's a video clip coming up. Not right now, but it's coming up.
They were targeted to single adults, college kids, basically millennials, anyone who couldn't cook as an alternative to soup, TV dinners, and dinty more dinners, I guess.
No, they were targeted to college kids who were baby boomers.
Yeah,
Millennials weren't born yet. I wasn't born yet in 1974, Brian, and I'm a Gen Xer.
I don't know. I think I'm in between Gen X. I think I'm not quite a Gen Y.
No, 1980 was the last year of Gen X.
Are you sure about that? Because it's been debatable.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's a made-up thing anyway.
It is a made-up thing. Yeah, just split everybody up in segment.
You can go on, Jeff.
And now for something we should all be eternally grateful is a relic consigned to the past. Because Gerber singles are one of the most horrifying things to ever come out of the 1970s. And for those of you who have successfully blocked them from your mind, let me remind you. Some foolish, awful, repugnant person at Gerber decided that what college kids, young people on their own, and I assume single dads needed was single-serving grown-up food made like baby food, all mashed up in jars. Let that sink in like the mush in the jars, coming in such delightful flavors as Mediterranean vegetable, vague, blueberry delight, suspicious, and beef burgundy, dry heave. And now for something we should all be eternally grateful is a relic consigned.
We can, yeah. So you want to read the top, Ryan?
Yeah, the only positive I see for this product would be for the sick, disabled, or elderly who can't properly chew food, but they weren't the demographic they were targeting in advertising. There's a couple of articles here. Just though this was really weird, just thought this was really weird, and stranger still, that not one person heard of them. What do you think? Mandela timeline product?
Everyone I asked. Now, granted, it's not like a scientific study. I didn't ask 300 people or 3,000 people or anything like that. But everyone I asked, no one had ever heard of it.
Is that it?
Yes, and TD Mage says, I'm an 81 baby, first year millennial. 80 was the last Gen X. See, Brian? You're a Gen Xer.
Okay, good. I'm still a Gen Xer.
You're still a Gen Xer.
I'm at the tail end of it.
Yes. And Maddie says, that is nuts. Mandela, does anyone else remember us baby boomers being called the me generation? That's what adults called us when we were young. You know what it is? Every generation prior, for example, Gen Xers apparently love like making fun of millennials for being dumb. And now millennials are loving making fun of the next generation. I think it's just, adults making fun of kids' stupidity. It's just the way of the way the human race works. Everyone, like when I think back to my 20s when I thought I was, the shit because, I'm an adult now. I was still an idiot. I was still an idiot in my 20s. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's just the way the world works. But they may have called baby boomers the me generation because, let's face it, 20-year-olds, teenagers, and kids, it's always, they how do I say this without being rude? We lost Jeff Manningham back in. How do I say this without being rude? Very self-centered. There's a self-centeredness because when you're a child, it is all about you. Your parents, it's all about you as a child, and it takes a while to outgrow that life you learn, that you are the center of everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that doesn't hit you until you're out of college, maybe your late 20s, your early 30s. Also, they say the brain isn't fully developed till you're 25. So I think it's just common. I think it's just a common thing for older generations to, make fun of the younger generations.
Well, when I was your age.
Yeah, when I was your age. And we were lucky, I gotta say. Early millennials, Gen Xers, oh gosh, and baby boomers and everyone before that, we should be so thankful that the internet did not take off until we were almost adults. Because these poor kids are going to have their stupidity haunting their whole lives.
Well, you live every day by what your TikTok rating is. If you have a low TikTok rating, then oh my gosh, your world is about to end.
Oh my gosh.
Or your Instagram status. Oh my goodness, you have so much to keep up with.
Yeah, but I'm not going to repeat that. But yes, I'll go with that 100%.
I barely can keep up with Facebook. Forget about Instagram.
Who wants to read Spider-Man?
I'll read this one.
We're getting towards the end of the year, guys.
Can you expand it? Make it bigger? Sandy? Full screen?
I gotta make it full screen. Hold on. I forgot he got kicked out.
Yeah,
hold on one second.
That's okay.
There you go.
So Spider-Man has changed for me in one very specific way, and I'm curious if you remember this about him.
And I'm going to correct you. It's actually two very specific ways, but I found it after I already wrote the slide and made it, so I just left it. It's actually two ways. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
All right, the first question involves the Spider-Man, the spider on his back. There's about 30 different costume designs and spiders on Spider-Man through the years, but next slide, Jeff. The spider on his back from the comic books and cartoons of my childhood has changed for me. It looks like a tick, not a spider. Does this look right to you? I mean, look how short those legs are. They look like feet.
And why is there a big line down the middle like a beetle? They couldn't make the seam red? I don't know. Do you guys remember it looking like a tick? Ever? I don't ever remember it looking like a tick.
Absolutely not.
Philo says an engorged tick. Yeah. A bed bug.
It's a bed bug, yes.
Bed bug. Spider-Man is bed bug.
I don't know if you're realizing this, Sandy. I'm looking at your StreamYard branding logo there. You know, for the longest time, I thought he was a Monopoly mallard.
Why?
Because I thought he had the monocle on his eye, but it's actually his earpiece. It's his headphones. I thought it was a monocle over his eye.
I see what you were seeing, but it's always been headphones for me. I've always seen it as headphones, but I
Really?
see what you were saying.
I guess I never zoomed in. It looked like it was a monocle. Sorry.
Okay. I have Mandanimal saying that's a deer, not a spider. Carameloni, it does look like a tick. That looks wrong, says Carameloni also. High Pockets is a no. Anita, me neither. Laughing from Philo. Laughing from Anita. Nope, but I think it had different designs over the years. It did. It did. But I don't remember this one at all.
It's anybody's guess as to what that. Anybody's guess to what that is, what that could look like. It's anybody's guess at this point, but it does not look like a spider to me.
Dan, I am doing a wrenching frenzy because I am 8 away from 500 subscribers, and this represents like not even like a tenth of my subscribership. This way, if only 5 people show up, I'll at least have 5 moderators in the chat. So, but the wrenching frenzy is now over. So, guys, if you have questions for Dan, Dan is in the chat right now. If you have questions about Mandela Monday that you always ask me and I can't answer, go. Ask away. Next slide, Jeff.
Yeah, you can see a bunch of different. There's a tattoo.
A tattoo. I can't believe someone tattooed that on their back.
I think. Yeah, I know, right? That's ugly as anything. I would have got an eagle or something on my back. Anyway, you see a bunch of different patterns here. Now, the one on the middle left kind of looks right, but the rest of them look terrible.
That still looks terrible to me compared to the way I remember it, but it does look better.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, a spider's body is not meant to be that big.
Where did Dan go? There he is.
Who? Oh.
Oh, I'm trying to give Dan his little wrench.
Danny, you're gonna have all wrenches.
It is going to be all wrenches, but it won't be after this show. That's the whole point, to have a few people in the chat with a wrench when I have a show. You can go to the next slide, Jeff.
Yes or no? Do you remember Spider-Man having web wings?
So in the chat, guys, yes or no? If you saw this, just answer your original answer. Do you remember Spider-Man having wings made of webs?
I think they're coming out with a new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 or something. Is it out yet?
I don't know. But High Pocket says no. Frank Nunez says in the comics, yes. Carameloni is no. Mandanimal is no. Mandela Affected is a nope.
Oh, sorry. The movie.
Oh my, Dan, you can jump in if you want.
Wait, sorry. The movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Universe is what they're calling it. Comes out in 2023 this year, June 2nd.
Dan, oh my, Dan's trying to call me an atheist. That's hilarious. Gosh. Joe Bloor says comics and 1990s cartoons. And Philo is a no, LOL. Adam for Christ says it's situational. Sometimes in the comics, cartoons, and games. I don't remember sometimes. I don't remember any time. But we can move on.
He doesn't always have the web wings, but he has had web wings in everything from comics to cartoons to toys since as early as the 80s, if not longer. And we're about to show you some things, guys. So there's even a wearable toy to give children Spider-Man web wings. Do any of you guys remember this? Do you remember? I have no memory of him ever having these. I remember the web shooter. I remember the web shooter toy, but never the wings. I never remember that. That looks so wrong.
I remember the web shooter toy as well.
They kind of resemble lacrosse sticks, don't they? Like the net from the lacrosse stick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they do.
I talked to Hebrew about this. He remembered it in some things, but not all the stuff that it's on now.
But Pepperidge Farm remembers too.
I don't know Pepperidge Farm.
Here's the best answer. Why should you care? You are 40 plus years old. You should not be watching anything Spider-Man.
Because my dad used to read me Spider-Man comic books to put me to sleep, Dan. And Superman. And when he didn't do that, he'd make up a story about my sister and I.
I'm sorry, but that mask looks too much like, well, from here it looks like a hockey mask, sort of.
Well, that
like
is a cardboard cutout
Friday
with a mask and wings on it. I said, that is a cardboard cutout with masks and wings on it.
I guess we go on. Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. There it is. So would you say this is like Spider-Man in the 60s, 80s, or all throughout?
It's all over. It's all throughout.
Okay.
It's people's drawings. It's the cartoon. We're looking at the weird tick thing. Comic books.
It looks so messed up, man.
He did not have the wings in the cartoon.
Wait, go back. Can you go back a minute? That one in the top left doesn't even look like he has 8 legs. It looks like they cut off 2 of his legs. The one in the top left? Am I wrong there?
It's only 6.
You're right.
Yeah.
Is that a glitch? Glitch in reality? All right.
I don't know, that looks messed up.
He did not have wings.
Dan says it's a scarab on his back. I say it's a bed bug. Yeah, the wings are absolutely not.
I played the games, and I don't remember the wings. I played them on PlayStation.
Maybe you had to, do one of those weird codes where you hit, XXY, top button, bottom button, to make them appear.
Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start.
Exactly.
Now, when I engage in some Call of Duty, and they have the jumpsuits that have the wings like that. Anybody ever play Call of Duty? And they have the kind of like when you parachute down.
No, but I'm sure other people have. Now, the bottom left might be from that new one you're talking about, the new movie, but the top left is a toy from the 80s. Next slide has a costume for Halloween. I've never seen these costumes. Or maybe it's not the slide. Maybe, it's a costume on the left. There's a kid's costume on the next one, too. These things were obvious. I would have seen them in the comics, at least. There's the kid's costume, the bottom right. And another toy with wings. So there's the Homecoming cartoon, Brian. The drawing, I mean.
That's the last slide, Sandy.
That's the last one?
Okay. In a second.
Yeah. Spider buns.
Let me know when you're ready, Jeff. Yes, flying squirrels in real life, not well, no, spiders do fly now. They also swim and they can breathe underwater because they make helmets to breathe underwater now on their whole body. All set? All set.
Yeah.
Okay. Humanity is a new type of fire, and its discovery is thanks to tornadoes and supercomputers. Go on. There we go. Researchers at the University of Maryland and in China have accidentally created a new type of flame that burns quietly and with no soot, making it naturally occurring clean fire. Unlike fire created with chemicals such as butane, this starts as a regular fire, but with the help of tornadic wind, spins to a clean, new form of fire called a blue whirlwind. As it burns, it spins just like a tornado or a top, and researchers believe this could have many practical uses, from heating to cooking, once contained and sustained for longer periods. And I think we have videos coming up.
In a round glass tank with slits in its side.
You want me to read first? This video from Tomo News shows how the experiments created the fire.
Researchers placed the liquid N-heptane onto a pool of water. When lit, the fire uses the oxygen in the air as slits in the tank cause the fire to whirl. This creates a normal yellow burning fire tornado. To tame the yellow fire tornado, the engineers injected a slow, steady stream of fuel from below. As the flame feeds off the fuel, it shrinks and turns blue. While there is still much to be learned about the flame, researchers did note they were able in a round glass tank with slits in its side.
Okay, so this is the actual video of the actual fire. There's two videos. One's a different angle. It's easier to see. But, and that's all I'm saying. This is the video. You can go to the next slide.
Was recently discovered, and researchers believe it could be the key to cleaning up oil spills. Was recently discovered, and researchers believe it could be the key.
Yeah, so we have new fire for the first time in ever that they found accidentally because of tornadoes. It's just weird. Dan, if you're not subscribed, I'm going to need you to actually subscribe. I'm only 8 away from 500. Good night, Karen. Thanks for being here.
Oh, good night, Karen.
I'm trying to remove you, Jeff. It's not responding. Hold on.
Hey, Scarab.
There we go. How many more do we have, Jeff? Do you know?
3, I think.
Oh, we're down to 3.
Yeah.
And then you want to show your residue.
Yes.
Don't forget the residue.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you got it, but I sent you one of those swirling storms that we're getting right now. A picture of it.
I'll check that out.
If you want to share it with the crew here.
All right.
So they see what I was talking about earlier.
Or you could just show it too, so he doesn't have to leave StreamYard or Flickr. I mean.
Yeah, I could show it if you want.
I don't want him to have to try to get back in Flickr again from Messenger. Jeff, you just load up the next one, and Brian will present what he wants to share.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready, Brian, I'll put it on the screen.
Two left.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, there's just two? You saying there's just two?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said there was three. Oh, we got two left? Okay.
All right, well,
oh, I'm going to present. I'm presenting.
Okay. Okay.
All right, there it is. So you guys see there what I'm talking about? You see it?
Well, that's not spinning though.
It is when you hit it in play. It's actually a spinning storm.
Hit play.
I can't. It's from my app on my phone.
Oh, it's a photo.
But if you were to see it, you see it looks like a hurricane in the Midwest. We've been getting a lot of these lately.
See, I was watching it earlier, and it just looked like an arch moving across the United States. Just a big arch.
Really? Because it looks like it's swirling. When you hit play.
Might be starting to swirl now because it's hitting the jet stream. But hold on 1 second, Jeff. I'm going to set you to present. All right, this is like I said, we're at the end of the year, guys. We're at Christmas. You may have just seen this, but these are good ones. So, who wants to read? Actually, Jeff, why don't you?
I'll read this one. I can read this one.
Jeff, you stay muted so it doesn't echo.
Okay.
All right. So the Christmas albums I heard growing up are all changing this time. It's Bing Crosby's "Here Comes Santa Claus." This was one of the top ones of 2022. Next slide, Jeff. Okay, it's not like the lines I remember no longer exist. Other singers perform them the way I remember, but this version specifically has changed from my memory.
Rich or poor, for he loves you just the same. Sam, rich or poor, for he loves you just.
That's a clue. That is a clue. So he doesn't care if you're rich or poor. He loves you just the same. Santa blank, and that makes everything blank. So guys, fill in the blanks of what you remember. And you can play the clue now, Jeff. Again, can you play it?
I don't think they need it.
Just the same. Sam, rich or poor, for he loves you just the same.
Now, I know some of you know what the words are. It's a long sentence. And the reason why it's a long sentence is because the whole sentence has changed. It's not just one word. I remember Santa Claus knows we're all God's children. And that makes everything right.
Santa knows we're God's children. That makes everything right.
Brian, Dan says, I don't feel so bad about my online reading now. Thank you, Brian. You're making him feel good because he felt bad about reading online.
What do you mean?
It means we're all just as bad as he is. That's what it means.
Are you saying I need to pump a little more pizzazz into it, Sandy?
No. No, like I was skipping over words, you were skipping over words, we all skip over words.
Well, sometimes you kind of ad-lib a little bit there, to emphasize stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
yeah, I agree, Dan.
We can go on.
I remember him saying, Santa Claus knows we're all God's children, and that makes everything right. And you're saying it's changed, Sandy, right?
Yes, it is. It has changed.
Santa knows that we're God's children. That makes everything right. Santa knows that we're God's children. That makes everything right.
He sings, Santa knows that we're God's chillin'. What in the world?
That makes everything right.
And that makes everything rice. Chillin' and rice. And the line is all wrong. Do you remember this like I do?
Oh.
I'm sorry. This is not my reality.
Yeah, chillin' and rice.
I wish I had a giant stamp like in You Can't Do That on Television, and just just hit it right there in the middle. Not my reality.
Right.
Yeah.
God's just chilling while he's eating rice.
Not good.
No.
Well, something's up with Bing Crosby. All his songs are changing pretty much. There is residue. Santa knows that we're God's children. Right there it says children. Again, another lyric here that says children. Still yet another one that says God's children. There's plenty of residue. Go on with the next one, Jeff. All right.
He doesn't care if you're rich or poor, though he loves you just the same. Santa knows that we're God's children, and that makes everything right.
Now didn't they say chillin', but they said right. They did say right, didn't they?
Yes, they said they sing right, but they still sing chillin'.
No, it was never chillin'. I mean, it's like this song is turning rap or something. The TV series Glee messes up the line. Yep. Next slide.
Santa knows that we're God's children. That makes everything right. Santa.
Now, Elvis, even Elvis sings Santa knows we're God's children.
He doesn't sing Santa. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I wrote it. I didn't know you were reading. Sorry. I was looking at the chat. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Not Santa Claus knows we're all God's children like I remember Elvis singing. So it's like he's skipping some words. He's missing some words there.
Yeah, Claus is gone, and we're all God's children. It's just we're God's children. We're not all God's children now. That's the message I'm getting.
Santa Claus knows we're all God's children. That makes everything right.
So Santa Claus knows that we're God's children. Yeah.
We're all God's children.
We're all God's children. Yeah.
It's all God's children. That's the part it was all God's children. All is gone.
That's the last one, Sandy.
Residue of how I remember the line. That's the last of the slide?
Yep.
All right.
I'm trying. StreamYard is not responding. I'm clicking on.
Scarab says Christmas Mandela in January. Oof.
Yeah, well, it's the top of 2022, so that includes December.
Well, also, many people still have their Christmas lights up. I don't know what in the world, but yeah, they still do.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my gosh. Even the business across the street has Christmas lights still up.
Our apartments complex still has them up.
And we still have our Christmas Mandelas up.
I like Philo. Early, not late, Dan. Perspective. It's early. Whenever you're ready, Jeff. I did make a sticker or something for chillin' and rice. It's basically a bowl of rice with ice cubes on top. So that's coming up. I think the last one is also a Christmas song. I think it is Bing Crosby again, because Bing Crosby is totally Mandela affected. Everything's wrong. Yep, here we go. Since Jeff has to mute, Brian, you want to just read the last one too?
Yeah, and Sandy, I want to let you know I got the outro up whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
You want me to read it?
Sure, because I keep coughing. That's why.
Okay. Well, that's another thing. I've been coughing this whole month since Christmas. Let's see. Brian and I have found. Wait, Brian and I. Brian and Brian? I know. It's Brian and Sandy have found multiple changes to a classic Christmas song across multiple artists. Some are regular Mandela effects, but overall, I believe this to be a variation effect due to the amount of changes. So, to some degree, this song, Little Christmas by Frank Sinatra, has changed by artists including Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Dean Martin, Twiggy, Judy Garland, Martina McBride, Sammy Davis Jr., Mel Torme, and the list goes on and on.
Mel Torme.
So it's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, that one. So it says here, oh wait, do you want me to read the lyric?
Sure.
All right, can we go back one? Okay, so verse 1, have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. The next verse, have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. And from now on, our troubles will be miles away. Okay, so I want you guys to keep that in mind.
Do they remember that? That's what I need to ask. Is
well,
that
yeah,
how you remember the song?
Yeah, does everybody remember the song the way we do, the way it is like that? Or do you guys remember something different?
I'm asking it backwards here. It's easier than asking blanks with songs because apparently I know Christmas songs better than most people.
I mean, we get together and we do these songs all like during the holidays.
Why is someone calling me on Joey?
They're in, not to mention they're in like almost every Christmas movie. What's at the end of every Christmas movie, guys? Usually, it's either have yourself a very merry little Christmas, or it's we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's usually those two. So we have yes, and yes, except sometimes miles.
All right. You can go on, Jeff. Okay, so I'm starting backwards on this one with Tony Bennett. Is this what everyone remembers? This is exactly how it should be every single time. No variation, exactly what I remember. There is an alternate sentence at the end. Some versions, but we will get to that later. Go ahead, hit play. All right, so now that we all know what the song should be, let me ask you a question before I present the changes. Do you ever remember hearing or learning that this song originally had entirely different lyrics? Yes or no? In the chat, guys.
I'm talking about entirely different lyrics. If you've already seen this, just answer what you originally answered. Yes or no. Do you remember hearing this song originally had different lyrics? So Mandanimal's a no. High Pockets is a no. TD Mage 20 is a no. Nope for Beth Bromley. No for Adam for Christ. Frank Nunez is a no. Joe Bloor is a no. We can go on, Jeff. Hey, Richard.
So, the song, what does it say? Heimlich? I don't know how do you
It
pronounce
says,
that?
"Have yourself a merry little Christmas short," so I have to write it all out.
Oh, sorry. I know I read that before from.
It's okay.
I just forgot. Sorry.
It's no problem.
The song "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" was written for Judy Garland to sing in the 1944 film "Meet Me in St. Louis," and it had with entirely different lyrics until Judy Garland
said it. Yeah, the does there again, Dan. See, it happens to Brian too.
Yes.
The does should not be there.
Yes. Until Judy Garland said it was too sad, they rewrote the song to how we know it today. So again, she was the first one, right? My dad said she was the first one to sing this song. Like that's the first time it was being played in the 1944 "Meet Me in St. Louis."
And it's because of her that the song was changed to what we know it is today.
Yes. So maybe she had something to do with it. Yeah. Hit the next slide. So there's no mention of these lyrics being recorded, so I can't say this is a Mandela, but wow, these are dark. So
Can you read it?
Let me read it first. Yeah, I'll read it.
Oh,
so now you know the story. Here are the original lyrics. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last. Next year, we may all be living in the past. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Pop that champagne cork. Next year, we may all be living in New York. No good times like the olden days. Happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends. Faithful. Again, it's faithful, not fateful.
Correct.
Faithful friends who were dear to us will be near to us. What? Oh, who were dear to us will be near to us no more. But at least we all will be together if the Lord allows. From now on, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. That is kind of scary, actually. If you're reading that for the first time, it is kind of scary. Have you ever heard of it or seen these lyrics before? Because this is where we get the alternate line. Until then, we'll all have to muddle through somehow. That some artists choose to sing, and it's not why we are here tonight. Next slide, Jeff. Lastly, before we get into the changes, I want to bring up artistic liberty. So sometimes artists will add a word for emphasis or to make the song their own. This difference doesn't change the song or its meaning. And we remember these liberties, unlike the Mandela changed lyrics.
Also called artistic license.
Right. Go ahead, next slide.
Merry golden days.
Sorry, it plays automatically.
Merry golden days.
Okay, artistic liberty number 1. Here are a couple of examples of artists taking artistic liberty in Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Hopefully you will see the differences between this and the Mandela changes by the time I'm done. So go ahead and play, Jeff. Start from the beginning.
From now on, all our troubles will be miles away.
All right, the changes.
So before we go on. So Tony Bennett said added in a Mary. I think it was Eric Clapton added in all. Those are just artistic license. They were just adding it in to make it their own. But these are definite changes for me. Let's go on, Brian.
Okay, so the changes to the song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Let Your Heart Be Light. So we're looking at the two words here, heart and light. For the most part, every artist sings the line, how we remember, but Billy Joel sings Hearts with an S, which could be artistic liberty or a Mandela if you remember him singing this as Heart. Go ahead and hit play from the beginning.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your hearts be light. Have yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go on.
So that is interesting how he adds the word hearts there. It was heart for me. Okay,
Yeah,
but
this
what?
is the whole reason. He is the whole reason why I did this entire presentation right here.
Wait, Bing Crosby or Billy Joel?
Bing Crosby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but Bing Crosby on his #1 Christmas album, is 1,000,000,000% a bona fide Mandela effect. He now sings "Let Yourself Be Lies." So lies, as in telling the opposite of the truth. Hit the play button for me. No. It was "Let Your Heart Be Light."
Have
Get out of here.
yourself a merry little Christmas.
No. Time out.
Let yourself
Gotta
be
hit the time out
light.
here. Okay, that's messed up.
Yeah, that is messed up.
Yeah, so it's hurting my ears. From now on, we're looking at that word and our troubles will be out of sight. Okay? Go on, Jeff. You can go on. All right. What I noticed, this is something I noticed. I noticed that in the Judy Garland recording, from now on had become next year, all our troubles will be miles away. Do you remember next year ever being sung?
And we did cover this. The lyrics, next year was not in the lyrics.
No, that's what bothered me. It was the Judy Garland version changed.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit play. You can hit play now, Jeff.
Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. Next.
She sings it in both verses.
Hey, hang on, Sandy. Can you go back a minute? Jeff. If you notice, you put there next year all our troubles will be miles away, but she sings next year all our troubles will be out of sight.
No, it's both. That's what I was trying to say. Both.
Oh, it's played both?
Both verses she sings next year.
Oh, okay. All right. Next slide, Jeff. Sorry. Okay. Scott Weiland, too. Listen to him.
Next year, all our troubles will be out of sight.
Gets me every time that he can sing like that.
Frank Sinatra sings next year now also.
Next year all our troubles will be out of sight.
But Bing Crosby and Twiggy take it a little further. Next year, all your troubles, not our.
Next year, all your troubles will be out of sight.
So in both parts of the song, have you ever heard "Your Troubles" before? You know what this kind of reminds me of? I think Scarab Performance might have covered this on one of his videos. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You know the one, what was that 80s song that mixed up the R and the your? I think it was the Pet Shop Boys or something like that, one of those songs. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe. Well,
you can dance if you want to, versus we can dance if we want to, or something like that. It's changed. The song changed. That song changed.
Men Without Hats. Yeah.
Men Without Hats. Sorry. Yeah. I know Dan covered that, I think, before. So yeah, both parts of the song. Have you ever heard Your Troubles before?
Next year, all your troubles. Next year, all your...
Now, Sandy, don't you?
Yes.
We're talking about singular and plural stuff, okay? And I hate to go off on a tangent here, but there was a Bible verse we covered at church this past Sunday, and it was talking about how Jesus takes away the sin of the world. Mm-hmm. I always remembered sins. He takes away the sins of the world, but I don't know.
It was sins. Wrong. No, you're not. You are right. It was always sins.
Okay, but I heard the pastor say sin takes away the sin of the world.
We would say, takes away the sins of the world, have mercy on us. The sins of the world, have mercy on us. Every time. Yeah,
he said sin. All right, go ahead. And Frank Sinatra sings From Now On here, but sings The Troubles. And it almost looks like he can feel the Mandela effect affecting him, LOL. Check it out. He's got it on mute, Jeff. Those things are finicky. From now on, your troubles will be out of sight. All right. So I've included many more your troubles instead of our troubles. It's your troubles here, in hopes of finding a version that you know, so that you can see it's a change, because it's changed in a lot of versions. Go ahead and hit play.
From now on, your troubles will be out of sight.
Now, who is that?
Eric Clapton.
So R is changed to your.
From now on, your troubles will be out of sight.
Sammy Davis Jr.
That's not how we sing it, though.
I know.
From now on, your troubles will be out of sight.
That's Sam Smith?
Yep, that's Sam Smith.
But didn't he sing it the other way? Your trouble or our
your
trouble?
Trouble in the first part, then your troubles in the second part.
Oh, that's so weird. Home Alone sings your troubles, right?
From now on, your troubles will be miles.
No, not in the Home Alone album.
Yeah.
No, it was our troubles. So we'll be miles away is the next part. Focus on the word miles.
Yep. These were all the same.
I think you saved the best one for last, Sandy. You hear me? I think you saved the best one for last.
I did.
So Coldplay remembers From Now On, but sings Our Troubles Will Be Far Away, and going back to Twiggy.
From now on, our troubles will be far away.
Nope.
Next year, all your troubles will be far away.
Twiggy says that too?
Next year,
okay, so here we are as in olden days and happy golden days of yore. I want you to focus on the here we are and those other words that you just saw. Many artists are not singing here we are. Now they're singing once again. So I want you to pay attention to this.
once again, as in olden days, happy golden days.
Oh, it's hurt my ears.
Once again, as in olden days, happy
No, not Perry Como.
days of yore.
Not Perry Como, I mean. So once again,
once again, as in olden days.
oh man, that was Here We Are.
Once again,
Frank
as in
Sinatra
olden
too?
days, happy golden days.
So I'm saying it's across the board. These changes are happening across the board. Multiple artists. This isn't artistic license.
As in olden days, happy golden days.
Olden Day, not days.
As in olden days,
Singular, not plural.
olden days.
Happy golden days
You gotta
of
pause it.
yore.
Can you go back a minute? Sorry. It plays automatic. So Bing Crosby now sings Happy Golden Days of Yarn. Yarn, WTH. Go ahead, hit
Happy
play.
golden days of yore. Happy golden days of yore.
I keep hearing that
Yeah,
N
it
at
sounds
the
like
end.
yarn. It's
Yarn.
definitely doesn't sound like your.
Nope.
Okay, so now we're talking about faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more.
All messed up.
See, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with gather and will be. I kind of think maybe it's will be near to us. I don't know.
It was always gather for me.
Okay, but it definitely wasn't fateful. It was faithful. Bing Crosby continues, faithful friends who are dear to us. Faithful, and he's not the only one. Here we go. Faithful. Hit play.
Faithful friends who are dear to us. Faithful friends who are dear to us.
Scott Whelan sings faithful too. And his friends travel near to us once more.
Faithful friends who are dear to us, travel near to us once more.
Why would you go off the main? I mean, okay. I'm just trying to think here, guys. So if you have someone who wrote the original lyric, you're not singing it for you're covering the song. You're supposed to do it word for word.
Yeah, like I said, it's not artistic license. It's everybody singing it the same way, which is the wrong way.
Right. So where are they getting their lyric from? That's what I'm wondering. Anyway, This one sounds like both. Hear what you want to hear. Check it out.
Faithful friends who are dear to us. Faithful friends who are dear to us.
Now I'm just hearing faithful. Maybe it didn't change yet. Maybe it didn't change when I presented this. It's totally faithful now.
Johnny Mathis remembers faithful, but sings friend instead of friends.
Of your faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us. Of your faithful friends who are dear to us.
Maybe it's Mandela pointed out that Judy Garland now sings faithful friends who were dear to us.
Faithful friends who were dear to us.
And were was in her original lyrics that she changed.
No, I remember are. Faithful friends who are dear to us. That's what I remember her singing.
I know.
So it's changed. Yep. Next slide. Oh wait, here. Then I noticed she sings "Will be near to us" instead of "gather near."
Will be near to us once more.
But I think you're right, Sandy. I think it was "gather." I've been on the fence about it. Sinatra sings "Near and Dear" in reverse, and he also now sings "Will be" instead of "gather."
Faithful friends who were near to us will be dear to us once more.
Will be dear to us.
Faithful friends who were near to us.
That doesn't make any sense.
Will be dear to us.
Yeah, like the people that live with you aren't dear to you except at Christmas.
Now, was that a live performance or was that actually in the original album?
Live.
Okay.
Maybe he was just drunk and sung it wrong.
Yeah, it's possible.
Probably so. Through the years, if the fates allow, muddle through and hang a shining star upon the highest bough. I want you to focus on these. Again, Judy Garland sings it wrong, not through the years, but an ominous someday soon.
Someday soon we all will be together. Someday soon.
I've never heard "Someday Soon" ever.
No, me neither.
Ever.
Someday soon,
God, we
all will be together. If the fates.
Someday soon, we all will be together.
Sinatra sings it the same way, too. So Martina McBride sings "If the Fays Allow," not once. If the Fays allow. Go ahead, play, Jeff.
We'll be together. If the fays allow. Hang a shine. We all
But twice.
be together. If the fays allow.
That one changed. That's when he paused it, Jeff. Jeff, thanks. So when I made this presentation, she was singing "Phase" in both of them. But when we presented it a day later, the second one says "faith." So she says "if the faith allows" in the second one now.
Wow.
If the fays allow.
Before the old way, Billy Joel sings "metal" instead of "muddle." I want you guys to hear
I
this.
think he's drunk. I think he's drunk in this one. I do.
Then we'll have to meddle through somehow. Until then, we'll have to meddle through somehow.
And the new way, Karen Carpenter sings "Hang Your Shining Star Above" instead of a star and upon.
Favorite version.
Shining star above the highest sky.
It was always a star and upon. Always. I love Karen
Finally.
Carpenter.
So all these people sing "so" instead of "and have yourself a merry little Christmas now."
So have yourself. So have yourself.
Jeff, you only need to play it once and we can move on. Okay. Just play it once because this is taking forever.
So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Don't you do that, Philo.
So have yourself merry little Christmas now. So have yourself.
Are they all doing that?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. These aren't artistic license. They're all singing it differently from my memory. All of it's crazy how many people. All the like I didn't listen to Sam Smith, but a lot of the versions that I listened to growing up are all changed.
That's so weird. So anyway, what do you think? Many of these are absolute changes. Others are victims of the Mandela variation effect, and very, very few are artistic liberty. But one thing is for sure, this song has definitely been Emmy'd, Mandela.
Yes.
So I believe that's it, right, Sandy?
I believe that is it. Thank God.
Yeah.
That was a really long,
So long.
really long thing.
It just started with Bing Crosby, and then you brought up the Judy Garland thing, and it messed up everything.
Well, yeah,
it became
it's
like
funny
5
how
slides
one thing,
to 50.
It's funny how one thing leads to another, though, isn't it?
It is.
I hope everybody has a wonderful Mandela Effect night. God
Wait,
bless,
we're not
guys.
done. We're not done. We're not done. Jeff has some residue he wants to show.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then you got the outro there, too, Sandy.
Yeah.
So far, we're sitting 2 hours 32. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. Jeff, just let me know when you have your residue up. Now, this has to do with the laughing Mandela effect, correct?
No, this is actually something different.
What is this?
It's from that show, Being Erica.
But what is the residue?
It's Jewel.
Oh, it's Jewel. Okay.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're ready for me to add you to the stream. Because I still see the presentation. Brian, are you watching TV?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Jeff? What's going on?
I'm not getting any sound on it. Hold on.
Because we're hearing it. We're hearing it. We're hearing something from your end. But all I see is the presentation. You may have to stop presenting and start presenting again. So Jeff is going to be presenting a clip from Being Erica, a Canadian TV series that is awesome. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. I guess it's residue of Who Will Save Your Soul, Mandela Effect. It was Soul, now it's Souls. So this should be residue of soul. You ready, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's playing. I see it playing. I don't know if you want to hit pause and start over because you're not on the screen yet. I'm adding you now. And I'll tell you if we cannot hear it. We don't hear anything. Why don't you forward that to Brian, and Brian will send, or Brian can present it. I'm going to remove it because we can't hear anything.
All right. Yeah.
Brian, can you present this, please?
What am I presenting?
Jeff is going to forward you the clip from Being Erica. They don't let you actually record your screen when you're watching, streaming services, so this is recorded with the phone. Jeff, you can stop presenting. I don't want Brian to crash. There you go. Jeff, did you send it to him?
Yeah, I just sent it to him.
Okay. You see it, Brian? I'm going to actually go to my messenger and see if I can hear it. Hey, Jeff, the clip doesn't have sound.
It should.
It doesn't. When I play it, there's no sound. That's why. It didn't record with sound.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have sound.
It doesn't have sound. We can't show it.
Oh, no.
Well, next time, guys. We tried. I asked them in chat if there was anything they want, like what any Mandela Effects we presented in 2022 that they wanted to see. But no one answered last time, so that's the end of the show. So, Brian, if you're ready.
Yeah, it's already there. I loaded it for you, Sandy.
All right, now, if you guys want to say goodnight, or if there's anything you want to say before we go.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for being here, everyone.
Hey, make sure you have plenty of chillin' and rice. I'm just kidding. I don't know what that. Just be chilling.
When is our next show? Is our show Saturday?
Yeah, it's still Saturday as far as I know. Yes.
Okay, so we will see you guys here or on Brian's channel. We're mirroring on this channel as well. So whichever chat you want to go to, we'll see you on Saturday. Have a great night.
All right, see you guys later. Catch you on the flip side.
Good night, everybody.